This video is not sponsored.
Welcome back, my beautiful friends. I'm very excited to share this video with you today. I get a lot of questions about people asking about my background and my ethnicity, and that's what I'm going to be sharing in this video. I recently did my 23andMe and I haven't looked at the results. I'm going to be looking at the results for the very first time in the video after this one. So this is part one where I talk about everything that I know about my background from what my parents have told me and my first-hand knowledge. And then the next video is going to be what my DNA says that I am. And it's been so hard for me not to look at it, and all I want to do is find out what it says, but I really want to see it for the first time with you guys. Let me know in the comments below before I get into this video. I want to hear your guesses. What do you think I'm mixed with? I would love to know. I think it'll be really interesting. And then at the end of the video, you will see, or you'll get to know, like, what my parents know. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think I'm mixed with? Growing up, I was always pretty confused, and if I'm being honest, even as an adult, I've been pretty confused about my background. I've asked my parents probably like 1,000 times about like what I'm mixed with. I remember when I first started high school in grade 9, you leave your elementary school with all of the people that you grew up with that you know really well, and now you have all of these new kids that don't know anything about you. So a question that I would have gotten asked a lot was, Amanda, what are you? Nowadays, people don't really ask what are you anymore, but that was a pretty popular question that I was asked back then. Now things are a little bit more politically correct. People ask things like, oh, what's your ethnicity? What's your background? Where are your parents from? What are you mixed with? But back then, it was a lot of like, what are you? God, Karen, you can't just ask people what they are. I got that question asked a lot, and it would always make me really uncomfortable because I felt like I couldn't properly explain what I was mixed with. Like, I knew the countries that my parents came from, but like people wanted more information. So I remember in drama class, it was the first day of drama class, and we got broken up into groups. One of the girls came up to me and she said, Amanda, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, I love your hair. What are you mixed with? And then my brain went like, I don't want to answer this question. And then the first thing that came into my head and that fell and dripped out of my mouth was, I don't know. So that was the last time she ever talked to me. She just like looked at me like I had 6 heads and then said, okay, and then we never talked again. So after that, I never said I don't know to anyone again because it didn't work out. I thought that maybe if I say I don't know, they'll just like laugh and we'll move on and we can all just be friends. No. So usually after that, what I would just say is where my parents are from. My mom is from Guyana, and my dad was born in Canada, but he was raised in Jamaica. So as far as I'm concerned, like, my dad's Jamaican. He just happened to be born in Montreal. Those are the countries where my parents are from, but my parents on both sides are extraordinarily mixed. I'm like a mix of a mix of a mix of a mix. Lots of mixing. So when people look at me, like, people kind of see whatever they want to see. When they look at me, some people see a mix of black and white. Some people see a mix of like Egyptian. Some people see a Latin mix, and like you see whatever you want to see. So that's where my parents are from, Guyana and Jamaica. But when I say that, that doesn't really tell people the whole story. So people usually want like more information than that, or they'll just like settle, but usually they'll like want more information. And like, well, that's when things get a little bit fuzzy because yeah, there's a lot of mixing. I asked my mom, can you like lay out clearly for me again, one more time in writing, what is our heritage? Where do you and dad come from? What are we mixed with? And I have it right here. So this is what she said. Okay, my dad is African, British European, and Eastern European. And my mom is Indian, Native Indian, and British European. Did I get that right? Oh, and she also said we're a small percentage of Chinese. See, I'm always finding out new things. I swear, every time I talk to my parents, I feel like I learned something new. Let me know in the comments below, are you really mixed? When you ask your parents, does like the story feel like it changes every time? Because I feel like every time I talk to my parents, I find out something new because it's so complicated. So the answer is never clear, but I'm hoping to get some clarification with the 23andMe, and that's why I'm so excited to learn about this. Yeah, kind of growing up, I always felt like a little bit like out of place. Like I would look around and I would like look to see somebody who I could connect with, who like maybe like looked like family, and like the people that looked like family wanted nothing to do with me. Or like didn't want to play with me. So like growing up, it was kind of hard to find my place. But like as an adult, I've just like grown to not care. And also there's like the internet now, so I have so many people to connect with, and like I personally don't care anymore. Like growing up, I really wanted someone to relate to and to like have people that like were surrounding myself with like people who looked like me, who like had hair like mine, and that didn't happen. So like as I grew up, I kind of like stopped caring, and the people that I connect with now, it's on more of like a deeper level other than like what we look like. It's kind of like personal interests that we have in common, and like curly hair might just be one of those things, but I feel like I have so much in common with all of you guys in many different levels beyond like what we look like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's not, like, all the people that are subscribed to this channel don't all look like me. And some of them might not. Some of them might even, like, have straight hair. Like, I don't know. But I'm really grateful that we live in a time where you don't necessarily have to, like, be friends with the people in your city or your town. The world is big, but, like, it's getting smaller because we can connect so much bigger than that. So, I'm really excited. Let's say it one more time. So, dad's side, African, Eastern European, British European, mom's side, Indian, Native Indian, British European, and Chinese. Some Chinese. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, and there's also African on my mom's side. I forgot the African. Amerindian, which is kind of like a Native Indian of South America. And African and British European. Yeah, that's a lot to remember, guys. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I envy those people. There's like, I'm British and I'm Egyptian or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice and like simple. I feel like I'm always learning new things about my heritage. Last Thanksgiving, my dad was telling me the story about like a common ancestor in Jamaica. I don't know how true this is, but like this is just like what he was telling me because I think someone in his family told him about it. And it was that there's just this descendant from Scotland who came to Jamaica and just pretty much like had a bunch of children and just like spread his seed throughout Jamaica. So like it's kind of funny that you might have this descendant, and kind of like ties a lot of people in Jamaica together. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So there is some Scottish blood inside of me and me lassie, Scotland, butterscotch. Yeah. So yeah, so that is something that my dad told me, and I feel like every time I talk to my parents, like I find out something new. So it's always fun. It's always interesting being a mix of a mix of a mix of a mix. When I was living in Costa Rica for a year, people thought all the time that I was Costa Rican, and they would speak Spanish to me, but they wouldn't speak Spanish to my husband because they assumed that like he was an expat or like a tourist or something because he doesn't look Costa Rican. But they would always assume that I'm Costa Rican, and it's funny, after we left, it was something that I was kind of like relieved about. That I'm like, no one's gonna assume that I can speak their language anymore. Since we were coming to Thailand, I was thinking like, you know what, no one's gonna think that I'm like Thai or like Asian or anything. Like, there's just no way. So during our layover on the way to Thailand, there was this other mother with her little girl, and our layover was in China. And we were like smiling with each other from across the room because we both had daughters and we had like that motherly connection. So it turns out that we actually ended up at the same hotel during our layover, and she was in line in front of me, like waiting to get checked out by the lobby people. And she turned around and she opened her mouth to say something to me, and I thought, like, oh wow, she must speak English. Like, that's really cool, we'll have a friend. And then a bunch of things came out of her mouth. I'm like, oh wow. And I realized, I'm like, oh, she's speaking Mandarin to me. And I'm just like smiling and nodding, like, oh yeah. And then she saw, based on my lack of response, she said, oh. And then we smiled, and then it was awkward, and she turned around. So it's so funny that I thought I was literally saying, like, the day before, I'm like, you know what, no one's gonna think that I can speak their language anymore. Like, this is gonna be really great. But no, it goes on. And in Thailand, this has happened a few times as well. So when you're really mixed, people don't know what you are, and I accept that, I understand that. So if you want to see part 2 of this video of me finding out my results, my DNA results, you can subscribe. And I also do videos on hair, lifestyle, and beauty related things. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. You got to learn a little bit more about me. I got to like remember who I am because I always forget. So yeah, when you ask me questions like, Amanda, what are you mixed with in the comments, I usually respond with like, it's complicated, because it is. So yeah, but now you know what my parents know and what I know. So next time we'll find out what science knows. All right, I love you so much. Mwah.